I'll move on, if that's all right, to breakfast provision and free school meals. There doesn't appear to be anything in the budget for the provision of breakfasts in every primary school and special school, which of course was another one of the government's commitments. Does the Cabinet Secretary expect to deliver free breakfasts in all primary schools and special schools in this coming year?
Well, we're still working towards that commitment, and what I would say to the member is free breakfasts are actually available in a number of schools across the country just now, because head teachers are choosing to use their PEF funding, that additionality that the government provides, to invest in free breakfast. So there are hundreds of schools across Scotland just now that are already delivering free breakfast. And what I've asked officials to do is to give me granular evidence in relation to that audit of what's happening at the current time. We have a mixed approach to breakfast provision. Some local authorities, I should also say, take political choices to invest in funding breakfast provision. Now, that's a choice for local authorities to take. You might argue I should provide that additionality into the system. There is a tension here, I think, in relation to local authorities' responsibility sometimes, but it is a commitment we are working towards delivering. I recognise, though, a lot of schools are currently already delivering free breakfast, so I need to, first of all, have the national picture in relation to what that looks like.
With respect, Cabinet Secretary, that is not a statutory requirement and funded by the government, which is what the manifesto said. That's goodwill of some schools using PEF funding, which incidentally is stretched to its limit already, rather than the government funding a pledge that they'd made in their manifesto.
Well, with respect to the member, the allocation that I have for my portfolio is extremely challenging, which is why I have had to take tough decisions through this financial settlement. The member has heard some of them. We will rehearse them, I'm sure, again
Was
later
your commitment,
today.
Cabinet Secretary?
Sorry?
It was your government's commitment.
I understand it was my government's commitment. I asked the member where I should find that additionality from my budget. I also say to the member, I don't yet know what the national picture is currently in relation to the provision of free breakfast, because, of course, some local authorities are taking that decision to deliver free breakfast anyway. Some local authorities, I should also say to the member, took a decision to wipe school meal debt. Others have not done that. So what the government have done in this budget is provide an additional £1.5 million to some local authorities who have not been able to wipe school meal debt to encourage good behaviour. So I say in relation to free school breakfast that there is funding provided through PEF, for example, for local authorities to take political decisions at local level to provide that additionality. Some have done that. I praise those local authorities for promoting and supporting the nutrition of our young people in our schools. Others have taken decisions to invest funding elsewhere. I want to know what the national picture is. That's why I've asked for this audit in relation to breakfast provision.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. And I think head teachers in schools across the country will be looking and asking the question, how many times do you want me to spend my PEF, if that's the answer on breakfast.